Another episode of the Football Talk. I'm Hassan. I have Adil with me. Adil, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, let's get going. Let's get
How
going.
are you?
I'm really tired.
Yeah, you look it. As they say, no rest for the wicked.
I'm exhausted. Need a break. Need a break. No break at the moment. But yeah, let's go. Let's start with the run-in for the title and Man City's game 2-2 at West Ham. What did you make of that? I mean, West Ham got a fantastic start, going 2-0 up, and then City fight their way back.
Yeah, I think it's a critical game, critical result. It's impressive from City to come back the way they did in the second half against quite, all of Moyes' teams are well set up. So, yeah, I thought it was a missed opportunity for West Ham. They had a good game plan. They all defended deep, and really you have to credit Pep's adjustments in the second half, which really opened up the game. Really,
what did he do? What did he do that?
So you see, so in the first half, all the width was coming from Cancelo and Zinchenko, and they're getting quite a lot of crosses in, and Mahrez and Grealish were coming in. And what they did was, because they kept everyone compact and they effective, they're basically playing like a 4-5-1 or 4-4-1-1, really compact. So what's happened is you got Lanzini picking up, not Lanzini,
talking about Fornals?
No, not Fornals. I think it was Lanzini. It might have been Lanzini, but they're 10 basically picking up Rodri, so there's no able to play centrally. And then you got Antonio and everyone. Antonio occupying the back line. So then what happened? The ball kept going into midfield and then out to the fullbacks quite easily, because that's the only space they had. Yeah. That's how narrow everyone was. And yeah, and the fullbacks was meeting the fullbacks. So what happened was Mahrez was always picked up by Fornals, and Grealish was always getting picked up by Souček, and then you got Rice kind of patrolling De Bruyne. So yeah, they were able to create actual space in and around the box, because they're picking up everyone in their in their positions. So then suddenly the balls have to go backwards because they're getting met with someone closing them down. So it's basically zonal press from their own half, but it didn't allow City to create a pattern of play other than going to fullbacks and crossing. And Zinchenko had the first start. Zinchenko was like the only guy free the whole game, which is probably what you want. Not saying that he's a bad player, but
if you look at all the
threat, and the only time they looked a real threat in the first half was if Grealish was able to do a bit of one-on-one taking on Soufal, who really struggled in the game. That was it. So second half, what they did was they made Mahrez and Grealish stay out wide. They made Zinchenko and Cancelo make more inward runs, and kind of get more involved in the midfield roles rather than being the wide option. And obviously that's where the game changed with Mahrez.
Numbers in the middle then it frees up Rodri.
Yeah, Mahrez is just skinning Cresswell at will. Yeah. Grealish was occupying 2 or 3 guys at will, and that's what's created the space. Suddenly, you started to see De Bruyne get into the space in the box and making those little runs and finding space. It was because they ended up spreading the midfield out, and all the back line out to the point where it forced Zuma to pick up someone rather than be spare and keep clearing those crosses. And you have to credit West Ham because they had a game plan. They targeted Zinchenko. It's quite interesting. Every goal kick, suddenly Suchek will go up against Zinchenko. That's a big mismatch.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how they were able to build up the play. You know, second, if you look for the second goal, you know, Zinchenko realizes that the target, he drops off to pick up Bowen, and then it's guess who's picking him up, having to pick up Suchek for the goal kick knock on. Bernardo Silva, even shorter player. So they use their skills to their advantage to create, you know, create those opportunities for Bowen to move in, and it's just excellent forward play from Bowen in terms of how many times do we see a guy have the space and they can't hold the run.
Yeah, they
both are tight. I mean, all season we've seen those ones end up being offside.
Yeah,
but he actually held his. He didn't get overexcited that he's completely free and he's gonna just assume the ball's coming. Real game intelligence, game awareness, and yeah,
real composure as well, isn't it? Because he takes it past the keeper, and then like even for the first goal, and they'll push the puts in.
Yeah. I mean, he's shown this season, isn't it, that he's a lethal finisher. He you know, he takes his touches, he gets the ball out of shoots. He shoots when he's ready. Yeah, great goals, both of them. But you have to credit. I was surprised how much the second half they don't dominate. And I knew the moment Antonio missed his open goal, you know, like you just got to dink the keeper.
You know,
spirit. I just knew, yeah, City gonna come back and then have the chance to win.
Well, what a chance they did. I mean, penalty for Mahrez. Again, big moment, Mahrez, penalty, miss.
Yeah, I think everyone's just as shocked why KDB didn't take it. But
it seems too often that this happens where Mahrez is missing that last chance.
Yeah, and it's strange because I felt he was one of the big parts in the second half to in terms of wrestling the game back in City's favor. But you know, like I don't know, it was a terrible penalty, absolute terrible penalty. I mean, there just wasn't. But give credit where credit's due, and we haven't had much opportunity to do that. But we have to give credit to VAR. They finally have used VAR the way we expected it to from day one. It's a clear penalty.
It's a clear pen, yeah.
Clearly, the referee got it wrong. There's no confusion in it, and it didn't take all day. You know,
straight pull the referee over. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there never seems to be any problems with giving decisions for City and Spurs this season, but at least they got the decision right. That was clear cut.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms of like, if you're looking from a Liverpool perspective, they must have been kicking themselves because if they were,
and I had quite a few Liverpool friends celebrated at half time, and I straight away just said, a long 45 minutes to go. You know, relax, because you know, you got people like everyone questioning leadership of the players and Pep, and he doesn't like leaders and hard characters.
He can't do it. But who cares?
Yeah, but the point is, there's no way you can tell me that those players aren't leaders, those players ain't got character. Everyone knew, come second half, City are going to be on it. And it was one-way track. Yeah, there was one or two really gilt-edged chances, like especially the Bowen one where it happens to hit the defender. You know, that looked like it was going in right at the end of the second half. But you know, City look vulnerable on the break. They don't look very good defensively. Laporte really struggled. I think the amount of games he's having to play because of the injuries to others. I think he's been their best defender this year.
Yeah.
But certainly against West Ham, he looked off the pace. He struggled with Antonio quite a bit. And yeah, Fernandinho just was getting exposed a lot. So
I mean, that's what I was gonna say. It doesn't help the fact, obviously, he's with Fernandinho at the back either. So
yeah, but like I think Ake was available.
yeah,
Why sign him if you're not gonna play him? So I don't know. Like you get two right-sided set of defenders playing right-footed. Why is this such a thing to have two left-footed set of defenders playing? Like I don't know. It can't be impossible for them to play on the right side of the defense with being a left footer. It can't be possible. They're bloody professional footballer.
yeah, it should be.
Get it?
I don't see the issue.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just dragged it to the last game week. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Aston Villa, Stevie G coming to Man City. It could have a say maybe. But that's what everyone's hoping. All the Liverpool fans are hoping, isn't
it? I just don't see it. I really don't see it because Aston Villa got outplayed by Crystal Palace at home. They're not a great team, and they certainly don't know how to play when they go ahead in games. And I think quite a lot of the games I've watched recently, Gerrard tactically just keeps making mistakes. I think like you're 1-0 up, he takes Danny Ings off, gets another playmaker on, and you lose the impetus. Like already you can see the havoc that what is causing where he, I just think he's probably got too many good attacking players that he ends up just throwing people on.
Because he needs to give them a minute, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, the goal came out of nothing. Crystal Palace have been the better team the whole game. I don't know if that's the moment where you go defensive. When Crystal Palace have to come out a bit more, take more chances. So I just think, sometimes, yeah. I've not been impressed with him tactically recently. So I don't know. I know there's Liverpool romantics and they all think Gerrard going and finally gonna make up for that slip and give no. I will be shocked knowing City the way we do, knowing those players and the character, whether they're gonna have any problems beating this Aston Villa, especially this Aston Villa team that have one of the worst centre-back pairings. I mean, the mistakes they make, Mings, every single game, Konsa, everything. It's strange because those guys earlier on in the season were really rating. They look like a solid team. They look quite on form, and then something's gone wrong. Like since the turn of the year, even before Gerrard came in, they just. It's like they've struggled with the increased expectation. So yeah, I just think
it can be down to that amount of pressure they put on themselves.
Like I said, their best chance is City firing a blank because they still haven't got Haaland yet. So,
I like the way you brought that on. I was gonna be Haaland. Yeah, I mean. Everyone's been talking, where is Haaland going? Barcelona, Madrid, Paris, you name it. But you know what? It's come down to the,
Real football talk got it right again months ago. How long ago did we say City? How long ago?
Got him tapped up.
The rest is just football politics.
I mean, what a signing, right? I mean, what is it? 51 million pounds with the like the agent fees, everything, etc. It goes to 84 million.
Yeah, and guess what? You know what the strangest thing about this deal is?
Yeah.
When I read, his weekly wage is 375,000, a week. I was like, wow, what a bargain for 375,000 a week. Like, that's how many players we've heard on like 400, 500k a week that it's become like 375 for Haaland. That seems like a bargain. You know,
That's
I don't know. I was expecting even the wages to be even more
Well,
ridiculous.
it's because what we've been reading on the press and stuff of 500K and so on and so forth. That's why I think everyone's just like amazed. 51 million or 375.
All I know is that Man City hierarchy, they need serious bonuses of them, you know, they're done really good, and what an exciting signing. And you know, the thing I like about it, and the thing is a lesson for a lot of clubs that who do end up panicking is or panic buying or throwing away their money. It shows the virtues of staying patient. I mean, they had Harry Kane tap last summer.
Yeah.
They were willing to go 100 million. They're even willing to go probably a bit more because they had the player tap. Levy played it wrong. You know, he didn't even negotiate. He played too much hardball, and City just accepted it, moved on, continued another season without a striker, which, you know, looks like they still got the league in the bag. And they still won't find the Champions League, you know, other than, you know, choking in the 89th minute. You know, they were the dominant team in that semi-final, much like Chelsea being the dominant team in the quarterfinals. So my thing is, they've really done well in the two main competitions without that striker. So they've had that patience. And look how they've been rewarded with that patience, not losing sight. Not, you know, how many times do you see someone like United panic buying Sanchez? Or Odion Igalo? That's not going to be the one, in it. Like, you know, there's so many examples of teams just panic buying because they need someone. And, you know, you look at City there, they just accepted it. They wanted to get a striker in, and they've moved. And look what they're getting. They're getting, and this is what we're missing as well. They're getting Erling Haaland, the best striker on the market right now.
Yep. 21.
And for the next 10 years, the best striker. 21. And then they got one of the best superstar youngsters, Alvarez.
Alvarez.
So you just think, like, look how their patience is getting rewarded. They didn't lose sight of their goals, their principles, their philosophy. They didn't panic. They got on with it, and they've done two really slick pieces of business where they had a free run at it. They basically had a free run at both of them. Literally, and every big club is going to regret not signing them two and them two are scoring.
All right, let me ask you this: Can Haaland hit the ball running, or can we see a Lukaku?
Nah, it's just not gonna happen. It's not. Gonna... At the end of the day, with Lukaku, it's a bit like the Pogba situation where we always knew that he can adapt to the Prem. You know, he's a 20 goal, 17 to 20 goal striker in the Prem. Yeah. He's shown it every year, West Brom, Everton, wherever he's been. But he's never been able to go beyond 25 goals or beyond that. It's simply because the pace of the game doesn't really suit. Even though he's got pace and strength, you know, it doesn't suit his game. How quick you have to think on the ball. People just flying in, rushing in. It's physical. You know, even though it suits his qualities and he can handle it, it also stops him from getting chances. We saw in the cup final, you know, and as soon as he's rushed, the football intelligence, lack of football intelligence shows. So, and that's the same with the Pogba situation. Amazing player, but is the tempo of the game Premiership just a bit too quick that doesn't allow consistency? Like, you'll see the standout performance, but you won't see it week in, week out because they don't have that fitness and energy level, and their game and their thoughts just don't. You know, the game isn't quicker physically; it's quicker in the mind. I don't think both of those players have that extra gear in the mind.
But do you think Haaland's got that? Do you think?
Yeah, he definitely.
The way Pep is, how controlling he is. Will he change his game too much or anything?
Look, Germany is transition football. It's, you know, it's organized. Everyone high presses, but But ultimately, it is still transition football. Both teams are going at it. The tempo is quick. There is fast breaks. So, there ain't many German players, kind of from Germany that really struggle in terms of performance. Yeah, you can question Werner in terms of his finishing, but I think his finishing was terrible at Leipzig.
Leipzig, yeah.
But in terms of it's not like he's struggling to keep up with the game. It's not like he's not getting chances.
He's still getting into the positions, right?
Yeah.
So
it's just his finishing technique and composure is poor, but he's not struggling with the tempo of Premier League football. So I think Haaland is going to absolutely rip it.
Man.
And let's see. I mean, only thing with Haaland is he does get a lot of niggling injuries because he gets a lot of knocks on his ankles and bruises, and that's going to happen more and more in the Prem.
But
if anyone tries to get physical, upper body with him, good luck.
They got perfect replacement for him in Alvarez, though, isn't it? So
yeah.
I don't see it as an issue. And also, they can play without a striker. So I think there's too many.
And also, they're going to end up getting 50 to 60 million for Gabriel Jesus. It's just slick business. I just think it's really.
Well, they're going to recoup all the money for thing, isn't it? Haaland right there and there, if you look at it.
Yeah. So I just think it's real good business, slick business.
Man. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Let's
nothing worse than a team being so efficient on the pitch and then off it as well. They're like shaming everyone out.
But it's both. Like if you look at both the top two teams, Liverpool and Man City, they're both on and off the pitch. They're just next level.
Yeah, I mean, I know with Liverpool it gets highlighted a lot because Klopp mentions it, not out of gloating, but he doesn't hide how. It's showing his humbleness that he shares out the praise with his team, with new innovation. Everyone's going about the Neuro 11th, scientists that they got on board for penalties. And every aspect, they're adding new elements, new coaching, new different elements to their coaching.
Did you see that video? Not video, that text commentary kind of thing that I sent you.
Yeah.
It's actually quite cool in terms of like how the difference between the two managers and how the calmness and everything.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think City get enough credit for that because they have. I remember a few years ago they had those issues around them defending and set pieces. Now they've scored the most set piece goals and they've conceded the least. And I know that they've done a lot of specific work on that. They've got a coaching that works specifically on that. And again, that's slightly taking a leaf out of what Liverpool did the year before. But these two teams are pushing each other even on innovation, and we talk about, and that terms being raised by Brailsford about marginal gains. But these two clubs are actually taking it to the nth degree when it comes to team sport, when it comes to football, which is they are finding new ways to find marginal gains that are relevant, that actually you can see the impact in games.
Impacts the game.
Yeah, and it's just high level preparation, high level being present and ready for the moment, and having the right people to make the right decision.
But you know what? Amazing. They see the picture, isn't it? They see the bigger picture, not just like. They'll build on it, but it won't come into fruition like straight away. But they build it so that like the following years, you see all of a sudden this massive impact. It might be a small change, but it has a huge impact in the whole.
But that's what you call culture in the club, where top to bottom, everyone's in sync. And look at that. I mean, another example I'll give is from Liverpool is you can tell there was some issues last year around recruitment. They were a bit tight, stingy. They weren't getting rid of certain players that weren't really part of the squad, holding on for too many players because they want to make too much money on them. Not necessarily, there's too much of that element of making profit before selling before they buy and things like that. And through that tension, what have they done? Marcus Edwards is gone. Yeah. They've got a new team in. This year, Marcus Edwards done things exactly how Klopp wanted it. They got the players in, they got the defenders in, they got who he wanted in. He pushed for January signing in Diaz, they got him in. You can see the difference that even they're learning from mistakes. It's not just, oh, they're innovative, they're assessing where they've gone wrong and they're fixing it.
Yeah.
And that's what you call an amazing culture at a club where, and it's all stems from manager. The manager, everyone there is serving the needs of the manager. There is no one in the Liverpool board or the Man City board where they think they know better than Pep or they think it's their way. I mean, they are there serving their manager and they're helping them make better decisions and more informed decisions because they're there to serve them, not to kind of say.
That's why they're the best two. I would say they're the best two clubs in the world. Even though Man City lost in the Champions League, I still think.
Yeah, well, they're not going anywhere. They're just getting stronger and stronger. That's the scariest thing. Is this year phenomenal? Possibly you feel for Liverpool. A few years ago, 99 points wasn't enough to win the title. This year, 91 and 92 points still might not win them the title. It's crazy how they're pushing each other. But then the worst thing is, they're gonna step up again next year.
Yeah.
There's no slowing down from these two. They're gonna keep raising the bar.
But
people will copy, people try and catch up, but they continue to raise the bar.
Relentless, the pressure they put on, and how these players cope with all that pressure. It's amazing. It's like to stay that consistent.
No, but that's the thing. But it's not pressure because everything is there to make the players not feel the pressure. Like you see, every Pep and Klopp, there's no pressure on the players. They never ever show any pressure. They're always happy. They're always accepting of whatever results they come. They spin it in a way where the players are just there to perform, and everyone else is serving them to be at their best, to play at their best. Scary.
You got a bit pulled away, but it's a good discussion to have. Let's bring it back, wind it back. Champions League qualification. Tottenham 1-0 at Burnley.
I thought we should mention FA Cup a bit.
Okay.
Being the big cup of this country, domestic cup.
If you want, no. I mean, I kind of spoke about the penalty side, but let's go into a bit more. I mean, second trophy in the back, domestic cup. They can potentially win the Champions League and do a different treble than Man City.
Yeah, it's like Chelsea must feel like the worst pride when they first luck in it.
That's so bad.
Losing 2 of those caps, both on penalties.
Yeah. Against Liverpool. Plus, this is the 3rd time in the FA Cup, 3 cups in a row. They've been final 3 times in a row and lost every single one.
Yeah, and the thing is, even if you include the international, like the Euro final and everything, that's the 6th time Mount has lost the final in Wembley already in his short career. When I heard that, absolutely shocking. But like, you got to see the positives in that he's there in the moment. Yeah, he's in a club and international stage where they get into those positions. But that is scary to think. Six losses on your season. That must have an effect. The reason why I just wanted to touch on it was because what an entertaining nil that was.
Yeah.
Like that was a game. Like I really enjoyed the ebbs and flows, the back and forth nature of it. The way each team just kept coming back at each other, finding different ways to attack. And that's why I just think, look, Chelsea are ruthless and efficient, but then they've not reached the heights of Liverpool. But you can see a lot of things are in place. They're not actually far off. In terms of,
they got a lot of background noise and problems.
But when you look at the difference, when you look at the difference there, Tuchel doesn't have that power the way the other two do.
True.
It's not all about the football at that club. They're successful in their model, but now they're coming up against 2 juggernauts that are just on a different level. And you just see It just reminds me of that. Remember, we said quite a lot of time, we don't think Chelsea's far off. That game showed it. They're really not far off. They went toe to toe.
With the
They did quite well. Now we can move on to the top 4.
No, it's not because I'm excited and no, I just. I mean, we had a
I would say the opposite. You might be a bit nervous.
Spanking in the week already.
I know, mate.
Oh man!
I have been waiting for you to bring up this top 4 battle since Thursday. Yeah.
Let's go, Burnley 1-0. Another Kane penalty.
All right.
Not
Well,
Burnley,
you know we're gonna have to revisit the Thursday. Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah, we will. We have to start where the game was, isn't it? And then we have to.
That's right. That's right. Just no more
ducking. Run away, isn't it?
It feels like you duck it quite a bit this season.
I don't. You know what? I don't duck. You know me. I'll come up with an Arsenal top, no problem.
So yeah, fortunate victory, I thought. The first 10-20 minutes, amazing from Tottenham. It felt like they're gonna absolutely score hatful. And I like what I seen Burnley. Like they made the adjustments. You know, that's a sign of a smart team. You know, when a team can adjust in game, fix their problems. It just shows there's a calmness, there's a clarity of understanding each other's role, clarity in the tactical plan. And second half, they were much the better team. I mean, you know, it wasn't easy for Spurs. The football Burnley were playing was really good. 2-touch football, 1-touch football. And yeah, Spurs held on. Ultimately, Spurs held on without looking a threat in that second half.
Felt a bit nervy, didn't it? That's what it felt like.
It did. And really, their only out and the only real creativity in the whole game was Sessegnon.
Yeah.
He was able to, get the better of Roberts more often than not.
But
you get it.
He's had a real rise, hasn't he, under Conte, because he was in and out under Nuno, and then you know what, he's slowly been building him in, and now he's having a good run at it.
Yeah, and the thing is obviously it's gonna fill you with confidence when you are picked ahead of someone like Reguilon. But you could see, Reguilon doesn't quite fit the Conte mold. So, and there's been rumors of them wanting to sell him, since Conte's coming in January. So that's going to fill you with confidence, and you can be, that position and that foot with the Spanish international, you're competing. And Conte really works mentally on your players. And, if you stick with it, he will support you, he will improve you. So, yeah. But, yeah, it wasn't a good performance. Bit surprised how much the Spurs struggled, to say the truth, in opening teams up. Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise. But, again, they got the job done. What do you think of the VAR decision, penalty?
It's the right decision, but for me, it's too close to him, right? It's right next, but it's the right decision, because if that was to happen at an Arsenal game against another team, I would say penalty because his hands away. So
yeah, it's one of those ones where you just think
it's soft, but if it's for your team, you would agree with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, what it is you want Ashley Barnes to get punished for having his arms out there. Like, what does he think he's a matador? What is he doing with his arm out in the box like that? So for that, yeah, you but then the other thing is you just think that ball is looping straight out of play.
Yeah, and
it's not even a goal scoring. I don't know, but yeah, I do think even though it's harsh, the problem I have with it was VAR called it. VAR seemed to have a look at it, and it's there was nothing that wasn't seen live by the ref. It wasn't like he was obscured. So I don't know if that should have been allowed to happen, but at the end, you could probably say it's probably the right decision. Yeah.
But I mean, main thing is they got to the right decision, right? That's
the talking point is whether it's clear and obvious mistake from the ref, which it wasn't.
But
the event.
But for me,
it wasn't a deliberate.
That's what I was gonna say. if the referee saw the incident, obviously then it's a different
It's
case.
not like he was obscured from it.
So then that begs the question, right? Because he decided in play. That's
Yeah,
not.
so now I just feel like referees are just relying on VAR to make the decision for them, and because they don't want to make the decision in play, which is now changing the dynamics, because that's not the way it was ever meant to be.
But then that's in the middle of the season again. So that's obviously interfering with the fair play, because that wasn't the case at the beginning of the season. So a lot of decisions would be given that probably wouldn't have been given. VAR wouldn't have probably looked at that before. You know, that could be the reason Burnley go down.
Could be.
All right, let's bring it to the best moment of your week. Go on. Arsenal.
But you're Mr. Arsenal. Tell me about that North London derby.
Listen,
do you think Arsenal are choking? Do you think it's terrible performance? You rip it apart, bro.
Do you know what? Yeah, I was so pissed with Holding. Even before he got the red card, yeah. Even before there's the way he's going in perfect, yeah. But if you're already on a yellow, yeah, be a bit smart, innit? You don't need to go in with your shoulder, even though the guy's running into you. You don't need to go into it with your shoulder, and that completely loses the game, because the first 15 minutes we were good, we were solid. They didn't have nothing. What did we?
I thought you started really well.
We gave them
really confident.
Yeah, we gave them a chance. Could you imagine, like, if it stayed 0-0, the pressure would have built so much on Tottenham. You know, the fans would have got behind, like, against them. But I
actually felt like you could just tell in mentality. I just felt like the mentality of the players in both teams was just totally different. Like you got even though they weren't dominating the game, every player in the Tottenham team just felt confident and comfortable in the occasion. And there's so many Arsenal, even though they started well and they started that first 15 minutes like the better team, you know, why is starting well? It's just getting the ball out wide.
Yeah.
Martinelli was looking lively. Again, another poor game from Bukayo Saka. I'm really not. You know, he's such a big difference maker. Like, whenever I've seen Arsenal play this, it's only because of Bukayo Saka. And the moment he goes off form, it's like you're grinding out wins.
He's also had a long year, man. I think he's had a lot of games, and you know, it's fatiguing. I don't know.
You got Pepe still.
Not making
other players who at times in the season haven't looked terrible.
But that comes down to Arteta not managing the squad well enough. There has been time where he could have played Pepe in games and stuff, and
yeah. So coming to that point, this whole thing about Tomiyasu as a left back and Suarez as a right back, and keeping Ben White on the bench.
Ben White wasn't fit enough to play. It was more of a because Ben White has asked to be, if he can help out in any way. That's why you saw him not even bringing him on. Yeah,
but don't you think that this is still a poor decision? Because again, you know, bringing him on, but but look, that stopped you from potentially getting a draw, from being resilient, because the decisions after the red card were a joke.
Yeah.
You know, every decision Arteta made.
Even before that, I still think he should have played Tomiyasu as right back against Son, who's one of their best players. You play your best player against their best player. Tomiyasu has been solid at right back. So he can play left back. But
the thing is, you know, that ball into the box towards that, from the right to that side, whether it's Kulusevski or Mora, whoever it is, that happens. They play the ball crossfield from right to left a lot in the game. You tell me, who would you want on that back post challenging any header from Son? The only reason Suarez pushed him in the back was because he's not confident in winning that ball in that height. You know, was Song ever going to really get it? No, he wasn't. So it was just poor decision making. But the seed has been planted already that I can't beat Song. So the seed has been planted from Suarez realizing he can't compete with Song in the air. So I just think, another baffling choice. And it's just overthinking things. Like, maybe we'd criticize if Kulusevski's played and you know, Kulusevski gives Suarez the run around, then it'd be like, oh, why not play Tomiyasu? Maybe that's the thing. But the moment you see Lucas Moura starting and Kulusevski hasn't started, they're both perfectly adaptable fullbacks. You know, you can make that decision. And you know, who's the bigger threat? Are you more interested in controlling Kulusevski or Song, the informed player in the league?
That's the point I made, isn't it, Adil? You have to play Tomiyasu against Son. At the beginning of the season, Tomiyasu dealt with him. And that's one of the reasons why you have to do the same.
Yeah.
And plus, you got Holding, who's, I don't know how many times we've talked about him on this show, every time we freaking play for Arsenal, who's another weakling, where Tomiyasu can help him out. Yeah,
but it felt like, Arsenal were just trying to make it into a physical derby, and it's like when it's like when a guy's going for a brawl and another person's just like got peace flags waving. It's like it looked so bad because Spurs were engaging in the confrontation. They're just going straight to the ref, and you can tell they're winning over the ref. The ref's not liking the intensity and the over. Because how many chances do you need where you're not even anywhere near going for the ball when it comes to taking that Song?
Yeah, well.
And have you ever seen that? If you look at all of those fouls, every single time Holding is tackling the outside of the man, if he turns outside, that is good. That's into your right back. You're not in a position. You're not out of position, or it's down the byline. And he kept allowing. He's so focused on winning the ball, and he kept allowing Song to turn in, and then he's fouling in and manhandling him.
Because I know, and I've heard that that's something like Arsenal focus on in terms of like they look at a single piece of play, and the coach will tell the individual player, "This is what you do." Do you think that's what happened, and that's why he kept over trying, or this is just a Holding thing?
No, because that's just dumb. You know, you're trying to go on the outside of someone whose stronger foot is right-footed. Yeah, if it's left-footed,
you
could understand that because you know eventually they're going to turn that side, or they're going to prefer to turn that side.
Yeah.
But when it's right-footed, it just makes no sense. It doesn't make tactical sense. So, if they have been coached that coach needs to get fired, or you know, do a different role, because that's not good. That's not sound knowledge.
I don't know.
Did you think it was a penalty first?
Soft, but I told you already on the text. You know, you'll see 10 more of them where it won't be given. But it's soft. You gotta. He hits the guy. Penalty.
Yeah, so I think that was one because of all the aggressiveness, and you can tell the way the ref was speaking to the Spurs players,
and the way
you can just tell he had already turned. He had got fed up of the antics of Arsenal and the over aggressiveness and the confrontation. And we've spoken about this time ago, where you know Arsenal are really good at making referees turn against them. If it's not Arteta on the sideline being a bit too, emotional, the players just don't know when to shut up. They just love arguing a case. They're like, you do a tactical foul, why would you argue when you get the yellow card?
Yeah.
Just get back to your position.
Get on with it,
lift the player up, But Arsenal, that they haven't got that understanding of how to work a ref.
Still young, isn't it?
So I think that penalty is only given because of how much they turn the ref.
Too many players are too naive, haven't got that big boy experience or anything, and that's what it comes down to, isn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is, I felt like Holding was trying to cover for the lack of physicality in a lot of other players.
Hmm.
You look at that game, he was the only one putting himself about properly, really putting himself about. Xhaka was lightweight, surprisingly. The midfield was lightweight, and that's where you have a problem because Odegaard might be a good communicator, but
He
when you
hasn't
come
got.
up against teams that are going to be physical, he ain't going to inspire you. He ain't going to tell you, come on. He ain't going to go in at halftime and say, come on, guys, let's smash him. Let's get into their face. He's not going to say that because he's the first one to go running. He'll be the first one, looking
Listen,
at the sideline
listen.
when the game gets
I
brutal.
already said so much about Odegaard and my thoughts on him, innit? So, but he's the vice captain now or something. I don't know. When Lacazette is not playing, he's the captain. So I'm gonna live with it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
What do you think? How do you feel about
not my type of captain.
So you're under the pump, 2 points behind Spurs, Newcastle away. Everyone's saying that's a tricky game.
Do you know what it comes down to? It's you can say, oh, 2 finals or 2 games. It's still in Arsenal's hand, right? Spurs can't influence anything. Yeah, they can put pressure on, but it's still in Arsenal's hand. You win your 2 games, you do your job, it's yours.
Yeah,
that's why even when I went into the Tottenham game, the way I looked at it from my perspective, go into it with the open book that, you know what, if we win, we get Champions League. It's a free hit. But obviously, yeah, we come at that and more pressure now, but it's in Arsenal's hand. They're gonna learn to deal with this type of pressure. They're gonna learn this. This is what it is.
So now put your neck out there. How do you think? Do you think they gonna get the job done today and the last game?
Today's hard, man. I did, you know what I mean? I'm already like questioning what Arsenal's gonna turn up.
I think it all depends on which Newcastle turns out.
Yeah, good
shout. I think it's also a tough situation for Newcastle. They've got this extra confidence. They've got this higher expectation now.
Well, they got Trippier. They got Trippier and Wilson apparently coming back into the lineup or something.
Yeah, but then they also have no pressure. Really, everyone's looking at this game from Newcastle, and Newcastle, all right, we say no pressure, but there is a bit of pressure in the sense that people are expecting them to compete against Arsenal because they're the big threat next year. Everyone's looking over thinking, oh, they're going to be big boys, they're going to be tough, they're making signings, they're making waves. So there's a bit of that pressure that it's a statement game for them. And if it becomes a statement game for them, are the entertainers going to come back? Are they going to feel like they have to entertain? If they do, then they're going to play into Arsenal's hand.
Definitely, that's it.
If they play with the strategic and game plan, good game plan, yeah, I think they could pick off Arsenal because Arsenal will get desperate.
Yeah.
They know the draw ain't good enough.
They have to get the win, isn't it? Because Tottenham got no chance.
So yeah, for me, it's an interesting game to see what Newcastle turns out more than what Arsenal. We know Arsenal, they're gonna try and be brave. They're gonna try to, they're gonna get the ball out wide. They don't take risks anywhere central, and they're gonna create something from out wide, and see where that takes them. But I'm more interested to see are Newcastle gonna make a statement and say we're joining the big boys now.
This is a great game for it, isn't it? A great game to show. Your last home game. That's the way to show it. I mean, like what makes me worried is like, could you imagine even like the last game, Everton at home? If Everton still haven't kind of got that gap between them and the other team, that last game all of a sudden becomes a battle in itself as well.
Oh, in terms of Arsenal,
yeah.
Well, we know for sure that that's not going to happen, is it?
No, for sure. They're still in the mix.
No, but like Burnley still got a game in hand.
Everton got a game in hand. Burnley got a game in hand, but they obviously need to win that game, isn't it? So
yeah, but let's see.
So that's why. But talking
I
of
forgot
Everton,
who's Everton playing as game in hand.
so Everton's game in
I know
hand,
they're at home.
they're against Crystal Palace,
Yeah.
and then Burnley got Aston Villa away.
Yeah. So yeah.
Leeds basically.
Well, first things first. I think Everton need to worry about getting their defenders back because
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to play Zaha and Co.
But like, if you look at it, well, Leeds got 35 points, but Everton literally just need one win from the last two. They're done. They're safe.
Yeah.
And you can't say the same for obviously for Burnley, but if they get
you're basically rooting for Everton against Crystal Palace, yeah. So all that talk about doesn't matter, Arsenal just need to turn up, win their 2 games.
Any advantage you can gain, you gain it. Any advantage anyway. Do you know what I mean? You want that.
That's weak mentality, bro.
No,
you just back yourself.
They're not. Wow. They haven't got the players to be on that level yet. They need a bit of.
That can't be true. That can't be true. If they wouldn't be in that position, then would they?
No,
they wouldn't be in the position of top 4. Then they do have the players.
No, but most of them are injured now.
Let's see.
That's the problem.
I'm fascinated to see what this game's about more than anything. I hope that last game has something riding on it for Everton as well, just to make it interesting, innit? There's nothing better than like one team or the other, and they're both fighting for something. It's nice. It's exciting. That's the match of the day, and everything's fun to watch. Every second in the corner, they show the permutation, how it's changed. One goal, goals somewhere, how it's changed.
They will still do it. The crowd. They will still do it, isn't it? Because Arsenal and Spurs both playing, and then obviously you got the top table 2 clash. So yeah, interesting. But relegation battle, I do.
We mentioned Everton.
Everyone's
Everton. Going on about that Richarlison goal. The penalty or the free kick that wasn't given.
The red card. I was just, you know what? How many red cards have they got since Lampard come here? I'm just been so, because it seems to be they do causing their own problems by getting players sent off every game.
Yeah, they're just too aggressive. You see it all the time. And the thing is, it's just not a smart team. Like, the fouls they do is not tactical. It's not clever. It's blatant. Like, and I think that a lot of that comes from the crowd as well. That crowd is baying for blood. You've seen the way they're holding up teams from entering the stadium. They're doing fireworks to keep people up. They've gone into madness mode. They think they've become like some big time, I know some big time,
Are you saying football hooliganism is back?
Well, they're acting like it though. You look at this race, like I always saw Everton as a classic club, a lot of Merseyside people, you see them as respectful. And in the pressure cooker of this, you're seeing some Everton fans and their true colors. You're seeing their true colors and you're just thinking, nothing can really justify to what extent are you going to go to support your team? That's just too much. It's way too much.
Should they have got that free kick on Richarlison because his shirt was clearly pulled? You can see, and the referee was directly looking at him.
Thing is, the problem is it was in the box, and if you change that question to is that outside, a penalty?
Yeah.
No, if it's inside the box, I'd ask you, was that a penalty?
You would say yes, in it, considering the evidence.
No, I wouldn't. There's no. There ain't a referee in the world that is going to give you a penalty for holding. He wasn't tugging him, and he did not restrict him.
His shirt.
No, he held it. He held it, but he's not controlling the guy. Look, in all of that, what is he doing? He gets the ball down. He tried dinking it over the top of him. He's holding the shirt, but it's not one of those where he's pinning him down and dragging him to the ground. He's holding the shirt. He's touch tight on the guy. No referee's gonna give that as a pen. I'm sorry. Like, do you watch what goes on in a match? The amount of grabbing, holding. You can't, like, no one's gonna do suicide and give that because the whole game is gonna be littered with fouls then. So yeah, I think the real problem was it's in the box. No one, that's not a penalty. That's not strong enough to be a penalty in anyone's book.
Okay.
But you don't mind giving that when it's on the edge of the box or in open play because you can. But is it strong enough? Is the action, whoever the defender was, I think it was Jansen, was it enough to warrant a penalty? No, he wasn't really restricting the player. That's my view on it. I just don't get the argument because it's like one striker and you got fully 3 defenders there. All 3 of them are ball watching. All 3 of them are ball watching. And, you got Coleman, who isn't slow. He's not even running back. He's completely left it to Braithwaite, the youngest guy in that team. And then you got Holgate, who ain't slow. They're both guys who have played fullback before. And you're leaving it to the youngster to go and try and read that situation. While the other 2 are just ball watching. And that is the problem with Everton. That tells you everything about Everton. Is just too many players switch off. Too many players just leave the ball, look around, leaving it to someone else. This is a culture problem there.
Just they're
not a smart team. I mean,
no one's willing to take that responsibility, are they? That's what it seems like. No one's willing to grab that responsibility.
Well, it tells you everything when Mina keeps getting injured, and that's such a huge loss for you. That he's so much of a leader. All these years, I thought, wow, he's just a madman. Prima donna, funny guy.
That's what it seemed like. Yeah.
And then when we see like he was such a key player for Benitez, and then the moment he gets injured, Benitez is moaning and struggling because it just tells you a lot of those players just don't have the character, natural confidence in themselves, or the character to handle a club like playing for Everton, where it's blood and thunder, it's 100%. There's no mercy. They'll boo you at half time. It's a pressure cooker. It's a big club. It's a club with the fans maybe have unexpected expectations, but they were the team of the 80s. So, it just says a lot when you're relying on, Mina as someone who can handle the presence and of the club and the situation of the club. Yeah.
Let's move on. I mean, in terms of Leeds, 1 game left, away at Brentford. Have they got what it takes? It could be taken out of their hands, anyways.
The way they played in that first half against Brighton, I thought they're gone. I mean, Brighton totally outplayed them. They just choked and they're just doing things. They went back to Bielsa mode of kind of some of the players started to do that man marking stuff, just pressing blindlessly, and it was so easy for Brighton. Credit to Leeds. Second half, they pulled it together. They got their house in order, and they really took the game to them. They played with a fearless brand of football, and that equaliser was the least they deserved. They really took the game to Brighton, and even though Brighton still had chances, I mean, I'd say the best chance. I mean, Welbeck should have got that header in. They showed the character needed. They showed the mettle needed to get a result. I think that performance, that second half performance, should help Leeds. But Brentford is a tough team to play against right now.
Right, yeah.
They just play slick football. I mean, the way it felt like watching Man City play, at times. The way they just felt so confident on the ball, just winning the ball back against Everton. And we didn't talk about it, but Lampard made some really elementary mistakes. Much like Arteta did, really, in the way to handle going a man down. So, but Brentford are just playing with the freedom, and they play really good football.
Well, the key thing is they got that point advantage. So if Burnley lose their next 2 games, they're still but in terms of goal difference, I mean, that's where the biggest drawback is for Leeds.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah,
because all it is, even if Leeds lose the last game, all Burnley need to do is get a point from the last 2 games, which they've got against Aston Villa and Newcastle.
or a win and a draw. We'll
Yeah.
do it for Burnley.
We'll do it for
But
them.
the thing is, Burnley's performance against Tottenham would worry me if I was a Leeds fan. They look up for the fight. They look good. They gave Tottenham a real good game, a team
Yeah.
that kind of, just come off and won not on the derby 3-0. So,
Yeah.
Burnley were the better team. So I don't know it's not like if you're putting the money on Leeds, out of all the teams, you'd think Leeds is the team you're not sure about if they can pull out results. But Burnley look like they can get results. The way they're playing, the brand, the confidence in which they're playing.
But but Leeds, they're not going to concede too many or give away chances, and they're going to have chances. You know that for a fact.
So did you just say Leeds ain't gonna concede or give away too many chances?
No, Burnley.
Oh, accent said Leeds. Sorry.
Sorry.
Burnley.
Burnley's not going to.
Yeah, Burnley never gave it a sniff to Harry Kane, Song. There's two players, the big team struggle to control. So they've got a lot of things going right, and that's without Tarkowski, Ben Mee, their two main defenders.
Yeah.
So
who's
they're
coming
playing
and
two
done really
inexperienced
good?
guys. Long is not experienced in the Prem, nor is that Collins. So
Collins, Nathan Collins is coming done really good for them.
yeah.
At pressure moment for him to come in.
So yeah, they're doing good. So let's see. It's going to be interesting, and that's what we wanted.
I'll ask you the question, Adil. This one, who's going down?
I'm just sticking to what I said before, Burnley, because I said that before. And even though they've changed their manager and they've made a fist of it now, yeah, I'm saying Burnley. Just because I don't know, but I actually think Leeds are the ones that should be worried, just because they mentally just don't seem like they've understood the position they're in.
Yeah.
And the manager some of the things he comes out with just makes me baffled. Like, it's just not the right tone you're setting for your team. It's starting to remind me a bit like when Martinez used to do a press conference, and it's just stuff in the stars, just super positive, but everyone can tell it's a load of BS.
It seems like he's trying to put too much confidence into the team, but it's not really.
Yeah, I think it's just too much psychology. But if it no longer feels like reality, it's just gassing, isn't it? Ultimately, everyone can sense it. It's just gassing, overconfident, over positivity. So yeah,
they haven't won.
It's strange. Burnley, I'm sticking because I've predicted. Leeds are the ones that actually tell me think they're the most dangerous. Yeah. And Everton's the one that won't actually getting relegated. So, yeah.
The Everton fans might not be happy with your comment there, Adil.
No, I like Everton, but just sometimes you just think, well,
you messed up
if you can resemble the shambles of Man United, then yeah.
We won't get onto that. We won't get onto United, don't worry.
Yeah. I'm glad they're not playing for 2 weeks.
Today's not the show for it. We'll try catch up on them on the last day of the season.
Please don't. They're not fighting for anything, so we shouldn't really have to cover them.
But Adil, anyways, thank you for your great insight as always. And for those of you watching, thank you for watching. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe. And do let us know in your comment section who's going to get into the Champions League, if Liverpool are going to do the quads or not, or if they're going to win the Premier League, and also who's going to get relegated. Thank you.
Oh yeah, don't forget your most important bit, the thing that's going to keep you up at night, whether Arsenal make it.
Thank you.